Have you ever noticed that some of the most important things in life seem to fall apart the moment they are exposed to a dream, a relationship, a business idea, a personal goal, and many more? Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to the Pivot Show, the show where we discover our purpose, embrace our power, and keep progressing every day. Today, we are diving into our very first episode, and we will talk about the mistakes of sharing too much with everyone. Before we begin, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment below. Your support keep encouraging us to create more inspiring content. Anyways, my people, one of the biggest mistakes many of us make is giving people access to parts of our lives before they have earned that access. We share too much too soon with people who haven't shown wisdom, trustworthiness, or genuine care of our well-being. Then we end up wondering why we feel frustrated, confused, disorganized, discouraged, and overwhelmed. Let me share with you a story. A few years ago, there was a lady who wanted to start her own business. She was so excited about the idea and couldn't wait to share it with the people around her. She shared her plans and story with the people she thought were her friends, and even took them to the very place where she wanted to set up her business. At first, everyone seemed to be so supportive. Their words encouraged her more and more, and she felt even more confident about following her dream. But after some time, the questions started coming. Some said, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Gossip started rotating around. Other people whispered, "What if it fails?" Some friends advised, "Someone else already tried it, but it failed. Will you also succeed? Maybe you should wait a little longer." Even with those comments, she continued to prepare for her own business. Before officially opening, she organized a big celebrations, friends, family, co-workers, and even people she barely knew were invited. It was a joyful moment filled with excitement and hope for what was ahead. Sadly, not everyone who celebrated with her truly wanted to see her succeed. One of her closest friends betrayed her. She went behind her back. This friend secretly went to the landlord of the shop where she wanted to rent and started spreading negative stories about her, and a quiet smear campaign was built against her character and credibility. Just imagine. The result was heartbreaking. The landlord eventually cancelled the agreement, and she lost the location she had worked so hard to secure, and coupled with all doubts from some people, she gave up on her business idea. Slowly, her excitement turned into disappointment, hope became regret, and regret turned into tears. Eventually, the plan ended in tears. The dream that had once been full of promise was buried under betrayal, criticism, and the opinion of other people. What if she hadn't shared? In the end, she gave up, not because her business idea was bad, but because too many voices became louder than her own. I am sure that many of you have had similar stories in your communities, workplaces, or even among your friends and families. Maybe you have seen somebody give up on a dream, not because they lacked the ability to succeed, but because criticism, disappointment, and other people's opinions became louder than their own belief in themselves. Not everybody needs full access of your life. The truth is, not everyone deserves a front row seat to your life. Think about a baby. Before birth, a baby grows safely inside the mother's womb. Even after the baby is born, the parents do not immediately hand the baby over to everyone else. They protect the child because they understand that the early stage of life needs care and protection. At this moment, the baby is not hidden. The baby is being protected so that it can grow strong and healthy. The same principle applies to your life and my life. Your dreams, your relationship, your goals, and your personal growth often need a season of privacy before they are ready in public view. Some things need to be nurtured in private before they are shared with the world. There are people who will encourage you, give you wise advice, and help you to grow. But there are also people who may discourage you, criticize you, or fill you with minds of unnecessary doubts. That's why it's very important to understand the difference between privacy and secrecy. Privacy is healthy, secrecy is not. Privacy means carefully choose who has access to your life. You seek advice from trusted people, stay accountable, and allow those who genuinely care about you to support your journey. While secrecy is different, secrecy shuts everyone out and leaves you carrying your burden alone without wisdom and guidance or encouragement. So, choose privacy. Let only the right people know your plans and your next move. In today's world, many people believe that if something isn't shared online, then it must be hidden. That isn't simply true. Not everything meaningful needs an audience. It's perfectly okay for only trusted friends, family members, mentors, or trusted advisors to know what's happening in your life while everyone else doesn't. Some things become strong because they are protected before they are revealed. Not everyone deserves a front row access to your journey. Another reason why many people overshare is because they are looking for validation. Stop looking for validity. We want applause, we want approval, we want people to celebrate us. But here is a lesson worth remembering. If you live for people's approval, you will struggle when that approval disappears. The danger of constantly sharing everything is that you become more attached to people's opinions of life than the reality of your life. You start building a life that looks impressive instead of one that truly fulfills you. Privacy gives you space to ask yourself an important question. Do I genuinely love this life, or do I simply love the attention it gets? That's a question many people never stop to ask. Another sign of oversharing is talking about other people's personal struggles without their permission. A friend, a spouse, a family member, or a colleague. We must be careful not to expose their information without their consent. When we tell somebody's story without their consent, we can damage relationship, create misunderstanding, and shape people's opinion in a way that may never be corrected. For example, imagine your friend tells you they are dating someone and ask you to keep it private. If you casually share it with people, the news can spread very quickly, or else their relationship will crumble. Before long, people may begin making assumptions about that person's character or life story, even though they don't know the full story. You may not have intended to cause the harm, but the trust your friend placed in you has been broken. Respecting somebody's privacy is an act of love. It's also important to understand that not every opinion deserves a seat at your table. Too many opinions create confusion, and not everyone is meant to advise you. Everyone gives advice based on their own experiences, fears, and personal beliefs. That's why discernment is very important. Always go by your instincts and faith. Trust your instincts. You need trusted voices in your life. Not everyone who smiles and speaks kindly should automatically be trusted. Remember that today we hear opinions everywhere. One person says do this, another person says don't do that. One expert says try this path, go this way. Another expert says no, completely disagree. Before long, your mind becomes crowded with conflicting advice here, there, and you completely lose clarity. The result is confusion and anxiety. At the same point, you have to decide, what principle will guide my life? What values will I stand on when everyone around me has a different opinion? Because if you keep changing directions based on what everyone else thinks, you will never build anything lasting. Finally, remember this: privacy creates peace. So choose to live a private life instead of an overshared one. Private life is luxury. Privacy protects your peace, plans, and goals. It protects your focus, protects your growth, and privacy is safety. If you are private, you are safer. But this doesn't mean you should never share your story. Share your lessons, share your victories, share your failures, share your growth. But be wise. Not every smile should be trusted. Just know your limits and know what to share, what not to share, when to share it, and who to share it with. Protect what is still growing. Some things flourish best when they are nurtured in private before they are revealed in public. Always remember this: not everything needs to be hidden, not everything needs to be shared. Stop oversharing. The goal is not secrecy, the goal is wisdom. Share your life wisely and never be quick to share someone else's private life. Don't be people's spokesmen and women, because when you learn to protect what matters most, you will give it the best chance to grow, thrive, and last. As a child of God, wisdom is not only shown by what we say, but also by what we choose to keep in confidence. When we guide our words and trust God's timing instead of people's approval, we protect the blessing that He entrusted to us. Proverb 21:23 says, whoever guards his mouth and tongue keeps himself out of trouble. Therefore, keep yourself out of trouble. Keep yourself out of trouble. Dear friends, once again, thank you for joining me on the Pivot Show, where we discover our purpose, embrace our power, and make progress every day. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep pivoting towards the life that we were created to live. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share it with someone who needs this message, and leave a comment below. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.